has made a promise with me regarding where the money will come to spend. He said this will come abundantly. However, he said, seeing this money, may you not become materialistic. Hazur says, that is, individually, it is a glad tiding given to the Jamaat, that you will have affluence. And also on a communal level, you will have affluence. So thus, when affluence is born on a communal level, then whoever has the money in their hands, they should also consider this fact, that we should not spend this on something that is not required. The money should be held carefully and spending should be pragmatic. Poor people are sacrificing and so are rich people. So therefore spending should be thought out and well considered. This is the responsibility of those who have been given the task of spending that money, and this is a very significant task. So where they are serving the Jamaat, where they are serving the community, they should take care of that spending, and they should do this in a way that they attain the pleasure of Allah. The promised Messiah, peace be upon him, the spirit of sacrifice that he infused within his Jamaat by the grace of Allah, because of this, the Jamaat is continuing to progress and advance. The examples of the companions in terms of sacrifice, they must be kept alive by the people who come now. In far away areas of the world, wherever Jamaats are being established, in these places there are poor people, but they also provide financial sacrifices. Their light rain of financial sacrifices is also bearing fruit, and the examples of Wabil, heavy rain, are being seen, like downpour or heavy rain. In terms of financial sacrifices, their hands are open, and as a result of this, the blessings of Allah are falling down like rainfall upon their work and on their jobs, and this is double a reward that is being provided to them. At this time, I have some incidents that I will present. For example, from India, the Nazim Waqf Jadid writes that in the previous year, that is 2010, I went for a tour of Gujarat, and there, in Gandhidham, there is an area, and when he went there to collect the Waqf Jadid from a person of that area, then at that time his chanda of Waqf Jadid was 13,000 rupees. I knew his financial circumstances, he said, and I appealed to him that Almighty Allah has blessed you profusely, so thus make your promise 50,000 rupees. That person immediately gave a check of 55,000 rupees and said, pray that in my work I have some kind of trade. I have 41,000 rupees stuck somewhere and I have no hope of getting it. But Allah the Almighty blessed him so profusely in such a way that in just a few days, that money he was unable to retrieve was given to him by those people who owed it to him, and they came themselves to give it to him. Similarly, we have an inspector Waqf Jadid who writes that in the Jamaat of Tamil Nadu, a sincere friend who took the bet, the Pledge of Allegiance 10 years ago, and when I told him about the significance of Waqf Jadid, I said to him that you should make a promise of 30,000 rupees because you earn a high amount. He said, Maulvi Sahib, I have heard what you have to say. I will not write a promise of 30,000, in fact I will write a promise of 50,000. I replied that perhaps this is beyond your capacity. He replied, when you have to give for the sake of Allah, then what does it matter? Allah knows what my capacity is, and I know how Allah blesses me, that in the month of Ramadan He fulfilled His promise. This year, the promise he has written, because his income has increased so much by the grace of Allah, that his promises for Tariq Jadid and Waqf Jadid are now 100,000 each. In the province of Bengal, there is an inspector of Waqf Jadid who writes that a new Ahmadi who used to teach in a school and who later took the training to become a mu'allim, and he used to give 500 rupees by way of contribution to Janta. Then Allah blessed him, and now he gives Chanda contribution of 5,000. So this person says that when I was a non-Ahmadi, I used to beg food from door to door. And now after taking the pledge of allegiance to bed, because of the blessings of Chanda, people come to me and eat from me. I did not have any property before, now I have property. Then there is a Jamaat of Tamil Nadu, and in a certain place most of them are new Ahmadis, and the majority of them took the pledge of allegiance approximately 10 to 15 years ago. By the grace of Allah, more than 50% of the earning members of these, they have become Musis. A few years ago, somebody took the pledge of allegiance, the bet there, and Allah enabled him to give some small amount towards Chanda. And he says, because of this, Allah increased my work or my trade. And my non-Ahmadi relatives are so shocked that where are you receiving all this money from? I normally say to them that whatever I have is the blessings and grace of Allah and also the blessings of Ahmadiyyat. This is the circumstance of India that I have just related. In Africa, in far-flung areas, there are also great passionate incidents of people giving towards Chanda. Amir Sahib Gambia writes that a brother of ours, Fordaba Kohli, he is a poor person, and when I said to him to give Waqf Jadid Chanda, he said because of the tight situation he is starving. After 3 days, this friend came to the mission house and he gave 50 dirasi, and he said, for the sake of blessings, my name should also be included amongst the list of those who give Chanda. Despite starvation, he had a desire to give Chanda. He thought that I should not be deprived of this blessing. This is an amazing passion, Hazrat says. Then there was another friend who said, I am very poor, I am in need, I have nothing, but he gave 100 dirasis. Amir Sahib Jamaat Ahmadiyya Benin writes that a new Ahmadi, Aware Kame, he for a long time was worried about unemployment, and he went to Nigeria in search of employment, but nothing came of it, and he came back very concerned. This was the last 2 months of November and December of Waqf Jadid, and when it was told to him to give this Chanda, and it was said that those people who spend in difficulty in the way of Allah, there is a special reward for them. So in the next day he gave Chanda. He said, when my whole household is eating its bread out of a loan, then why should I not take out a loan to give in the way of Allah? Perhaps Allah will alter our circumstance. So Allah's blessing descended in such a way that on the 3rd day after giving Chanda, he received work in a very rich person's family, and he obtained such a large salary that he was able to repay in 2 months all his loan, and he was also able to purchase a motorcycle. And he goes around telling everyone, this is the blessings of my Chanda. Similarly, Awara Kame, the same Jamaat that I mentioned to you before, says that the Mu'allim Sahib went there to get the Chanda. Many people from this area, that is this area of Aware Kame, the Sadr Jamaat there, many people were to give him money, and it was a very large amount that they were to give. But for a long time people were not giving the amount, and because of this, Sadr Sahib and people of his household, they were not able to fulfill the Chanda of Waqf Jadid. The Mu'allim Sahib explained to the Sadr Sahib and his family that the promise is a loan. When you do not pay the loan to Almighty Allah, then why will other people not pay your loan either? Then he understood this, and he immediately gave the Chanda for Waqf Jadid. And the whole household gave the amount that was due. And the Mu'allim Sahib says that Almighty Allah blessed them in such a way that in a week, those people who owed the money to them, they all came and they returned the money owed to that seller. Now he has bought a land of 1 acre, after which 4 canal he has given for the purposes of building a mosque for the Jamaat. A missionary in Nigeria states that a lady of Laguja Jamaat, Asfat Habib Sahiba, she says that in my house I run a clothes business, a garment shop, but now my husband has opened up a school, so now I help him more in the school, and the school is far away from my house, so therefore the income for my clothes business becomes low. This became a source of concern for me. One day the missionary appealed for financial sacrifice for Waqf Jadid, and I gave as much as I could. After just a few hours after giving this, when I opened my garment shop, then in just a few hours so much sale occurred which never occurred in the past few weeks. This was the blessings of giving towards Chanda alone which allowed me this to happen. In the Virdgo region, the missionary there writes, Jalo Sikho Sahib, who lived in a village, in the past year he took the pledge of allegiance, the bet, and immediately after he started giving Chanda, and as a blessing of giving that Chanda, Allah blessed this